Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to day 23 of 30 Inks 30 Days, the Challenge by Ink Journal to use a different ink every day in another pen. It could be the same pen, but it's just using one ink a day. And day 23, we are just rolling right along. We've just got a few days left, really. Next Monday will be the wrap-up. So this is the color that I'm using today, Birmingham Golden Gazette. It did come in their April pen parcel, which they're no longer doing that right at this time. And I can't find this ink available, so it's been quite an exploration here today, trying to go through what I do have. So here it is. Now, the camera is doing something to this ink, and that's nothing new except that I don't have as much natural light today. I'm having rain showers. So it is brightening it up a little bit. So that's very frustrating, but it's one of those things we're going to have to kind of live with. Here it is in the broad nib, and it took about 40 seconds to dry. Yeah, see, it's brightening it a couple of notches, and that's probably going to disturb me throughout, but I think by the time we finish, we'll have a better idea how it compares with other inks that you may be familiar with. Here it is in the stub nib, 35 seconds to dry. This ink is very flowy, yeah, the flow is excellent in it. Here it is in the fine nib, and I felt like it held up quite well. It never dragged. It didn't do anything on any of the papers. I just was happy with it. Even though, of course, it appears darker in the thicker nibs, it just really, really did well. My first impressions, I really like the ink. Ever since I first saw it in April, that's true. It's a very pleasing color to me. The flow is fantastic. Yeah, I was bummed to not find it on the queue or the sale pages at Birmingham, but I think in this case, if enough of us like it, it could make a difference in whether or not they're able to or decide to make some. So here's the chromatography. Notice how it ended up with like a little brown line, and in a minute we'll look right at the water test, and that'll help us see what's going on there. But then it's like bright highlighter yellow, and then it's kind of a orangish gold. So it's very interesting. And over here was just my exploration with what I thought were similar inks. This is in the new line from Goulet, the Jacques Harbon. It's going to be our first ink in that series, and I think it does deserve to be compared with this ink, definitely, but there's a different tone and it almost goes browner. But here's the chromatography on that one. So you can see that, you know, inside it does have some similarities, but it's different. And then here's Noodler's Apache Sunset, which is just brighter, more yellow. So that's interesting how it comes out. And the chromatography on it more closely seems to be similar to the the one up above. Very interesting. And there's a lot of shading going on with Noodler's Apache Sunset. But oftentimes it just doesn't hold up for us in the finer nibs. And of course, my pens are all full with Golden Gazette, so I just used the other Serendipity to, and I even dipped one of my other stub nibs, so just to see how things would appear. Okay, so let's keep this available. No, let's go right into this. I want you to see the bath test early on. It's 20 minutes submerged, just like all the other inks. They're all treated the same. And we do end up with this brown, so it has some water resistance. You know, certainly you lose all your color. And I still wouldn't be real comfortable doing an envelope on this because envelope papers are different too. And sometimes the cheaper, like Mead envelopes, actually you see more of the ink left behind, but you never know. It can go both ways. I used to test envelopes too, but I don't anymore. So I thought that was very interesting. And then yesterday's ink, Colorverse Allen Hills, which is back here, the lighter green, it was an A in the clean out. It was very easy to get it out of my pens. You could hardly tell it was there, so no problems. Let's go ahead and look on Rhodia sample here. This is Rhodia 80 GSM dot grid paper. We're getting toward the end of this booklet. Okay, here we go. Oh, sun's starting to come out. That might help. Here it is in the broad nib. It took 30 seconds to dry on this paper. No, it doesn't help a whole lot, but maybe a little. And then in the stub nib, I think it was 25. I don't know what happened to my brain. Yeah, it must have been. That would have been the next increment I would have tried. And it looks so warm and inviting in that nib. And then we go into the fine nib, 15 seconds to dry. It was still flowing really super well. And I'm not happy with how it's appearing more yellow to you than it is to me. It's looking a lot deeper. It's very difficult to describe this color to begin with. So, oh, that's irritating. But, okay, let's see. Oh, I came back in with the stub nib just to practice a little bit. Nice on the white paper. Yeah, I liked it on the super white Rhodia quite well, actually. Okay, so on CVS caliber paper, I come all the way over here. And it brightens some more. Let me lay that down in the middle of them and see how it looks. Yeah, it looked good on here, I thought, and there were absolutely no problems with, there was no feeling of the nib being dry in any of the cases, not even the Lamy fine nib. So I wish this ink was available. I really like it. Broad nib, it was taking quite a while to dry. It was going to be a little bit up over 40 seconds, and that was the same on Tomoe River paper. So, and then in the stub, yeah, it was still 40. It was smearing a little with a nice finger swipe across it. It still wasn't quite ready. And then in the fine nib, it looked like it was almost dry in 25 seconds. It still looked nice. It does lighten some, but if you could just see the color in person, it's very rich and it's nice. I put down Good Ink Paper Match, the CVS caliber inexpensive paper. So there we have that. Now let's look at the comparison panel. It's going to be kind of an interesting thing today because I really didn't have anything that looks like it. That happens sometimes. Okay. Hopefully we can keep it standing. Okay, right in the middle is our ink of the day. And I've got it right next to the one that we saw in the Tomoe River example. And Apache Sunset is down here on the bottom right-hand corner. And it's looking so much orange, right? Well, it looks that way to my eye, too. Much more orange than Golden Gazette. These two on the face seem more similar, just on the face. And then I got a lot of what I would consider these wrapped around here, kind of wheat colored, or where you want to say, is it brown or is it gold? It's even Noodler's golden brown is there. That's really pretty. Warm, kind of warm toned. And here's one from Pure Pens. And I feel like that's going to be a lot closer to brown. It's just not going to be the same, but that's just my surface opinion. And then we got a yellow here for comparison, really, because that's a traditional yellow right out of the crayon box. And it helps us, I think. Poppy or Plume Caramel. Well, through the camera, it's looking more like Golden Gazette than it really does look to me. To me, this looks a lot browner. And now, you know, it's light. It's a very light ink, so I'm not saying dark brown or anything like that. But even here in the middle, you can see that it has that water resistance. Where, like, take a look at Honeybee and just about everything else. Now, you see just a little tiny bit of that here, but it'll be interesting to look out more for that when we do the full profile next month in October. So these are all of the ones I think that I got out. Yeah, because I didn't have very many that looked like it. So let's talk about what I thought about the ink. You probably already know I like it. This is the Pen Thing, little ink swatch plot log book. And I put Remarkable Flow. I love the color. I do really love the color a lot. Saturation I thought was pretty good. I mean, gosh, for it to look that way in the fine nib, it's got to be somewhere between a 7 and 8 in my book. The flow was way up there. Like, I put it between 8 and 9, just reserving maybe for something that might be more runny. And this wasn't runny, but it definitely flowed really well. That's what I like about the Birmingham inks. One of the things. Many other things, too. Excuse me, I didn't see shading in this, but I like the color so much. If I saw any shading at all, it was not enough to really really talk about. Dry time, well, I guess I marked that slightly above average. I just felt like I was waiting forever on CVS and Tomoe River paper, but maybe that's just later on I'd have to reevaluate that, I think. No sheen, halo, or shimmer. And overall I gave it a 9, but then I wrote down here, I mean, it's not even available, so I don't know what I'm doing giving it a 9, because one of my criteria is that it be, you know, available. Yeah, price and availability. And it's got excellent price when or if it's available. Like I said, I got the little sample. It was a 4 ml sample. I'm down about halfway now. In their pen parcel, which they're not doing any longer for right now. They may go back to it. Let's see how it looked on the back of this. This is it's a Hewlett Packard paper, and it's really smooth. It sort of mimics Clairefontaine. So, okay, let's try this ink out on a Nick Stewart technique. Okay. Oh, well, I got a mess here, but that's okay. It's just a bunch of my practicing with all the different colors that I had tried to get out. It was raining this morning and thwarted our plans at the bayfront, but for now, anyway. Tomorrow's another day. Let's see. We have a space right here for it. Okay, and I've got my sample, pens, paintbrush. Oh, well, I think that's today's ink, thank goodness. Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens. I have no expectations. The only thing I think we're going to see, unbelievably, this is the water. And it does. It looks really neon, and it's weird. It's like, wow, that didn't even come out in the chromatography. Not like that anyway, so. I've been staring at that. I took it and I rinsed everything twice, the brushes, and put fresh water to see if it would do it again, and it did. It's like, that looks like I had that catfish ink in there, but I didn't. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Ooh, there we go. We're going to get highlighter stuff coming out. I probably should be doing it just up at the top. Let's see, let me try one more little splotch. Wow, that is crazy. I'm seeing that too. That's not all camera there. It's just highlighter yellow coming out. I gotta look at that chromatography again. Am I crazy? What was it that we saw? Okay, it did have a little of that in the middle, didn't it? Right there. But I guess I still wouldn't have expected that much to come out, but it does. Okay, I better get that line down while we have something to work with. Okay, there we go. I got a line. I don't think we got much else going on here. Huh. I'm going to go directly... Oh no, I guess I should see whether any detailing is possible while it's still... Try for... Oop, there goes the rain again. Hitting against the metal louvers. Okay. At least it's cooling us off. I'm about as tired of... Yesterday was 103 heat index, and it is almost October, so we get a little fussy and a little bit... I say we, I do, because it's me that doesn't like the heat. Interesting. Oh, that almost looks like it's already a tree. A little tall, skinny one. Huh. Well, I'm not crazy about the color that comes out there. I don't really like that, but it's part of the process, seeing what happens. It looks a little unreal. Oh, that's interesting. I can see this. I'm not sure you can. There's like a dip where the water just didn't adhere. Oh, there's another one over here. Huh. Okay, let's see what happens if I draw through. Yeah, it just doesn't come down, that's all. It just happened that way, I guess. Interesting. Let me try a little bit of a mirror. Never really think that through much, trying to make it the same length. Oh my gosh, it looks like a bunch of weird roots or something. That's cool though. Okay, I think that's it for this one. Huh. All right, there we go. Now, let's see what is for tomorrow. It's here. Oh, yes. Okay. Tomorrow is Diamine Soft Mint. Very pretty. I like it. And I'm hoping that it'll show, that it'll do well, even in the Lamy Fine nib. You know, as I go across all the different nib widths, if I have something inked up, I like to be able to use it in all my notebooks. And so that's where that comes in. So that's for tomorrow. So what did you think of this ink? It's almost an unfair question because of the fact that right at this time we can't get any. Some of the people like me who got it in April pen parcel may or may not have any left, you know, as a sample. But I'm hoping they'll produce some more. I'd like a 30 ml bottle of it. So what did you think of this? I want to tell you one more thing about it, and that is that I just completed a long pen pal letter. It was both sides of 2 papers. Well, maybe it was 3 pages. So it was front and back, front. Something, I'm not sure. Maybe it was 4 pages. A Hamlin Optic. And that's the white paper that I did a profile of, or a review of. And it just was real nice. This is like Clairefontaine paper. And the stub nib, and this is what I have it in, the Genhao 159 with the Goulet 1.5 stub. It just so smooth. Now this paper here is super absorbent, but I mean, I don't even have to put any pressure. I can just, it just glides, and this paper is weird, but it did glide along that Hamlin Optic, and I really liked it in that stub. I like it in all the nibs actually, but that was very comfortable, so that letter's ready to go. So that's it for today. Let me know what you thought of the color, and after all, there are hundreds of each, if not thousands, of each ink color. So let me know if you know of something similar like this. Of course, it's hard maybe for you to get exact, but right at this moment, it's looking more like itself. It's brightening it up more in the middle there than it is, just by a little bit. But let me know if you have any other suggestions that look like this. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.